Welcome, my fellow hunters. This is the RPG Relic Hunter, and today I'm interviewing Matt Mcfarland, the man behind Onyx Path Publishing's Kickstarter for Changeling the Dreaming. So you know what time it is. Time to talk fairies. Not that kind of fairy. Okay, getting closer. No, not at all. The fairies I'm talking about are the fae from the 20th anniversary re-release of the classic RPG Changeling. Great World of Darkness, 20 years? Man, I'm getting old. Changeling is a game in which the players can take on the roles of fae with strange magic, stranger motivations, and the ever-present fear of the loss of innocence. Time to find out whatever happened to Changeling the Dreaming. I hope you enjoy.
Came out in summer of 1995, and so that followed Wraith the Oblivion. So that was the game that had come out the year before. That was the previous World of Darkness game, which of course Wraith was. Wraith is probably my is it my favorite old World of Darkness game? I don't know. It's up there, but I loved Wraith, and Wraith was unabashedly dark and tragic. And then Changeling came out. I think that there were a lot of players that didn't quite know what to make of it because the tone was very different than the previous World of Darkness games. Instead of being explicitly kind of horror-based, it was much more into urban fantasy. And the themes of the game were less about the danger in the game was less about, you'll be killed, something, terrible, visceral will happen to you. It wasn't that kind of horror like you got in Werewolf, or it wasn't the, slow erosion of your soul like you got in Vampire. This was, you will grow up, you will lose your dreams, and eventually you won't be able to remember what you thought was so special. And I think that for a lot of us, because I was in college when it came out, and I think for a lot of us who were playing these games as late teens, early 20s, that really resonated because we were at that point in our lives where we were dreaming our dreams and we were setting up the rest of our lives. We were terrified about well, what happens when am I still going to be me? Am I going to remember this passion? But I think that core idea that you hold on to your passion, you hold on to your dreams, or the world just grinds you down, was really perfect for the World of Darkness. And I think that's kind of what I've always thought was most important about the game. The magic system, which was basically built on, here is what you're doing, that's the art, here is what you're doing it to, that's the realm, and here is the thing that you do to unlock the magic, and that's the bunk. And I think that asking players to think about, okay, well, what is your character doing to get the attention of glamour and the weird to make this magic happen? Over the years, as I've run a lot of Changeling, one of the things that I think is really fun is watching people kind of come up with their character's own style for doing bunks. And I used to offer my players, like, I'll lower the difficulty on the roll or whatever if you physically get up and act out the bunk.
Okay.
Which can lead to some interesting things around the table. Now, I had a friend who I don't know how he managed this, but he had a vest that I swear you could have, it was like Mary Poppins vest. You could have put a grandfather clock in this thing, and I'm like, how are you keeping that in your pocket, Mike? That doesn't even, where was that? But he would come over and play this character, and he'd have I think at one point he was doing a bunk for an art called Chronos, which is like messing with time, and he literally pulled out a little clock out of the pocket of this vest and smashed it with a ball peen hammer.
Which also came out of the vest, I'm assuming.
Yes, right, exactly. that was the bunk. I'm like, well, that's 4 successes right off the top easily. I mean, what do I do with that?
That's right. At least he doesn't have 2 clocks in there.
So I really like magic systems that give some free form and some power to the player. And I think with Changeling, it's really important that the players get to get to be creative with it and get to, kind of express magic in a way that's appropriate to their character. One of the things that we're adding into Changeling the Dreaming for this edition is a mechanic called Unleashing. And Unleashing basically was just, instead of casting a spell and doing something defined with your magic, you're just going to let it go and try to guide it in the right direction.
Okay.
And I really liked it for Dark Ages Fae. It was, you didn't really keep very good control of it, which means that, like, if you unleashed, night, everything around you might become, covered in frost and rime. One of the big examples of unleashing in cinema that I like to point to was in the movie Willow, Bavmorda turning the whole army into pigs.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was just perfect. Like, I'm just letting my magic go and everybody's a pig now.
Right.
So for Changeling the Dreaming, I really wanted to add something like that in there because I always felt that fairy magic should have the potential to be a little bit more unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of gives you the fear factor of the magic.
Yeah.
Because, when people think fairies, their first thought is Tinkerbell, but then, you got to pull it over. Well, what about, William Shakespeare fairies? Those were kind of scary.
So like I said, it came out in 1995,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was a core World of Darkness game for a while. It got regular releases. It got what we used to call splat books, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it got little mini source books for each of the kits. Most of them, actually. Not all of them. I forgot one. And then what exactly led to the decision to move the game to the Art House imprint? I don't know. I wasn't working for the company at the time. I can only assume that it didn't sell the way they hoped it would.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what happened. It got kind of shifted over to the Art House line along with Black Dog and a couple of the other properties, and then it just kind of it was there. Changelings got mentioned in other books. There were books like Rage Across Appalachia,
Mm-hmm.
that was a werewolf/changeling book, and then World of Darkness Blood Dim Tides had a section on merfolk and kind of the changelings of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't have any releases that were purely changeling for a while, and then in 2004, when the Time of Judgment came around, when the old World of Darkness kind of ended, there was a World of Darkness Time of Judgment book that collected a bunch of the game lines that hadn't had regular releases or that were kind of like sub-game lines. So it was Demon the Fallen and Mummy the Resurrection and Kindred of the East and Hunter the Reckoning, and so when we were talking about that game, I was working for White Wolf at the time. I was the Dark Ages developer then, and I said, well, let's do a line or a chapter for Changeling in there as well, because we haven't had a release in a good long while. And so I had a couple of people at White Wolf going, well, really, are there any Changeling fans? I'm like, yes,
there are.
Yes, I'm one of them. Yeah. So that came out, and then I wrote a little essay that I put up on my website at the time that was talking about how, we were getting that chapter, so there was getting some closure to the line, but, I said, Changeling is going away, it's not coming back. If it does, it'll be in a different form. And then, of course, the what was then called the New World of Darkness now has been rebranded as Chronicles of Darkness,
Mm-hmm.
Launched, and Changeling Lost came out, which is a fantastic game. I was really happy to be able to work on that. But then, we started doing the 20th anniversary editions, and as soon as Werewolf came out, and it was, apparent that Onyx Path was going to do the other World of Darkness game lines as 20th anniversary edition, I'm like, oh, we get to do Changeling for 2 years. So yeah, then when it came time to do Changeling the Dreaming 20th anniversary edition, I put in a pitch to develop it, and here we are. We're 10 days into the Kickstarter, and we're at just over $240,000.
What would you say that people are going to be most excited about with this 20th edition book coming out?
Oh boy. Well, the original Changeling game had, 13 kits, I think. And we added a few more in, like as core kits for this book. We added in the Clerican and the Pisky and the Selkie, who are some of my favorites. I played the Selkie for a long time. So that's fun. As more stretch goals get revealed, we might be adding more kits in or giving more attention in the book to some that are there, but we're getting kind of like half write-ups.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But one thing that we did add already, we already made this stretch goal, and I was really happy about this, was we're putting a section in the book for building your own kith.
Oh, that's very cool.
One of the things that we really tried to do was make sure that, we'll give you examples of kits, but you can build your own. Here's how. And so for Changeling the Dreaming, I really wanted to get that kind of mechanical support in there to help players. Like, if you want to play this, obscure fairy-like creature from your homeland, well, here's how you make it up.
Well, fantastic. Yeah, I think I'll make a Christmas-related one here.
Krampus. Yes.
I hope you enjoyed whatever happened to Changeling the Dreaming. I want to thank Matt Mcfarland for joining me today, and you can follow him on Twitter at blackhat_Matt. While you're there, might as well follow me at RPG Relic Hunter. Now, Matt also has a blog, blackhatmatt.com, and he has his own game company, growlingdoorgames.com. So check him out there too. If you'd like to take part in the Kickstarter for Changeling the Dreaming and get your own gigantic, possibly 500-page long book, then check out the description at the bottom. You'll see a link to take you right there. As of the time I'm publishing this video, there should be about a week left in the Kickstarter. So please go over there, check it out, and help them make this a great special edition book. To see the last video in this series, click the cute little Who from Whoville who loves Christmas a lot. Make sure you hit the like button, and to subscribe, click on The Rock, who... Look, can we talk about The Rock for a second here? Stop the music. Stop. Okay, look, his agent okayed this movie Tooth Fairy. Do you get that? I mean, he pays this guy... I'm sorry. That's all I'm saying. All right, I get it. I'm moving on. Time to sign off. Always remember, play like the dice are trying to kill you, because they are. I mean, he's supposed to be a tough guy. He was a wrestler, for crying out loud.